Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. I have an amazing show today. You know, so many entrepreneurs are thinking about space. They're thinking about commercial real estate. Whether you own commercial real estate or you're looking for commercial real estate, you know, if you're like me, you think that commercial real estate space has just not caught up to the times. In other words, it's just so difficult. It's not like buying a residential piece of property. Commercial is so difficult and so challenging, and there's so many cobwebs and things to get through to find a good space or to sell or lease your space. And there has to be a better way. And of course, when we think like that, somebody comes along with a great idea, and that person is actually on the show today. And her name is Sheila Matuscak. She is the CEO of CoeoSpace, and she has such a remarkable technology platform. She's made commercial real estate so much easier than what it's been in the past 30, 40 years. And Sheila, welcome to the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today.
Thanks, Andy. It's just a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I love it so much, Sheila, because you're really reimagining how commercial real estate space is found and shared. And the platform is so interesting. I was on it this morning, actually, looking how simple and easy it is to use. So Sheila, let's start by pulling the lens back to 30,000 feet and tell us about CoeoSpace.
Sure. Well, Andy, as you know, I have 25 years of commercial real estate experience. I started my career as a broker, and I went on and got my MBA at Northwestern, Kellogg School of Business. And then I went to a number of the top firms, JLL, Transwestern. And then I started a new company at the time and sort of started my entrepreneurial journey. And I grew a brokerage and development shop and merged it with a company called Cressa, became partner, did a ton of corporate services, advisory work, brokerage work, and also did some investment work. And it just was a recurring theme that the data was not transparent. It was hard to get. And there was a belief system that this is what kept brokers sort of employed. But it's actually not true, because it creates a little bit of mistrust in the community. You don't really know, nothing's transparent. There's no data to verify the information you're given. So CoeoSpace, the idea was born to create essentially, I call it sort of a Zillow plus Match.com put together. And now we're providing also marketing services that help all parties. So it's just sort of an idea that's, let's create transparency, information, let's empower people with information and create trust and let things get done quicker, easier, and at a higher level.
I love it, Sheila. It makes all the sense in the world. It's really interesting what you've done with the platform. I want to talk, generally speaking, about the commercial real estate space, since I have you on the show and I call you the queen of commercial real estate. But, you know, Coeo really comes from the Latin verb meaning to be united or come together and join. And that's really what you've been able to do with this revolutionary search platform, where landlords and brokers can really market their property and be connected in seconds to customers that are really seeking commercial real estate space. So this morning I went on the platform and I searched for some commercial real estate space in the area that I'm at. And within just a few seconds, I was matched with some great commercial real estate. So when we're thinking about this platform, Sheila, are there certain parts of the country right now that are more robust than other parts of the country with the landlords and brokers putting and marketing their properties in their particular areas?
Well, that's a great question, Andy. I will say this. Our platform covers 4 categories: co-working, office, industrial, and retail. So we are seeing lots of different things in different asset classes and in different areas of the country. What I will say has been a uniform takeaway is, given COVID and the pandemic, the acceleration and adoption of digital has been amazing across all asset classes because it was necessary. And I believe from a consumer standpoint, tenants and buyers are also thrilled that their brokers and trusted advisors are willing to send them things in a more open way because it saves them time ultimately that they could be spent on their core business. So we've seen lots of different things. Industrial has been the hottest asset class as far as seeing quick results. Office has been really interesting in periphery outside of like downtown markets, even suburban markets. Retail is sort of its own animal. It takes a lot of creativity right now and great minds thinking about highest and best use. And co-working is actually doing very, very well because people like the ready to go, flexible type platform.
That's interesting, Sheila. It seems like people that own retail property, they're sort of thinking outside the box and thinking about what they can do with those properties because perhaps they don't work the same way that they used to. So what are some of the things that some of the people with retail properties are doing with their properties right now?
There's been a lot of interesting things with retail. I mean, some have been able to give them to operators who want to create co-working spaces in different areas. Some have been looking to combine fulfillment with retail, which I think is an incredibly innovative concept. That way the consumer doesn't have to wait a couple of weeks, like for a new iPhone, they're just automatically being able to fill the inventory. We've seen just a lot of innovation out of retail, but really the key to any of these asset classes is if they put it on our platform, people can find them based on their needs. And also we are running digital marketing campaigns that are incredibly hard hitting, and it puts the decision like what to do with it in the hands of somebody that might be interested, whether it's a developer, a broker, or a user of the space directly.
That's interesting, Sheila. And you mentioned industrial spaces like warehouse space. What's going on in that particular sort of vertical of the commercial real estate field right now?
The easiest way to describe what's going on in industrial is the Amazon effect. So Amazon is leading the effort. They need warehouses everywhere. They need to be close to their people because no one wants to wait more than 2 hours for certain, things that they want. And as a result, it's creating such demand for well-located, well-built industrial space, high ceilings. Ceilings, when I started in real estate, were around 28 feet. Now they're only building at 40 feet clear. And so they're becoming a lot more efficient. And as a result, then other people, FedEx, UPS, a number of other people still need industrial space. Cold storage is still needed for frozen food. So the demand's been pretty red hot. So industrial landlords are able to lease and nicely lease at good economics their space very quickly. I will say it's on the development side, like every asset class, construction costs have gone up. So they're mirroring sort of that issue, but because the demand is so strong, they're still building.
Interesting. When we think about some of the big box stores that have gone, unfortunately, out of business, they're 40 to 50 to 60,000 square feet or more. They do have the high ceilings, and they were originally a retail space. Are those spaces now being turned into sort of these industrial, like Amazon effect type spaces, or what are they doing with those types of spaces right now?
I haven't seen yet a shopping center turned into industrial, but it doesn't mean it won't happen. Recently, we posted an article where industrial developers essentially bought out suburban communities, residential communities, to put up a new industrial property. So they are getting more and more innovative. So I would not be surprised to see that, especially because if it's like a grocery anchored center, they have a lot of the in-out, issues that they've solved for grocery that could be similar to a warehouse. So I think anything is possible with those spaces, and people are getting a lot more innovative as far as what they do with them.
That's great. And, when we think about CoeoSpace, obviously we're talking about some of the bigger brands, some of the bigger massive companies out there in the world, but let's focus in on sort of a smaller, customer, somebody that needs 5,000-6,000 square feet. Maybe they want to open a gym or a small restaurant, or they want to open a retail space, or they have something in mind. They're an entrepreneur. Let's talk about how they can use the CoeoSpace system as well, because those people are really the driving force of America.
Absolutely. So really the users, it's free to search. They can search in their market. They can put in what is important to them, their parameters, and then the the search will come back with, here's a few that hopefully are 100% matched down to like, could be, 10% matched, depending on how detailed they get in terms of what they want and how strong the match is. But essentially, the system is free to use and it's free to list, and it always will be. So if the properties are there, they are welcome to find them. And some of our landlords that are really excited about having it up on the platform, but also want to push it out, are using what we call PromoteSpace. So PromoteSpace is an AI-driven product that targets the users that are looking for this kind of space. And it's basically, based off of what they've told their computer. So we're able to target people who are interested in like kind of spaces with an ad for a property that matches that space. And also it's targeting the tenant rep brokers and the buyer's agents as well, and developers. So it's really a powerful way that you can get a property in the hands of the right prospect in a matter of 30 or 60 days, which might sound like a lot, but we're not selling, a Starbucks cup of coffee here. So at the end of the day, it takes a little more time in commercial real estate to do anything than anyone realizes, but these are powerful tools that can lead to much quicker results.
I like that so much, Sheila. It's really interesting. So you have the CoeoSpace, but then you have something called PromoteSpace. And I want to talk about that a little bit more, because you say that it's AI driven, and it sounds like if I want to promote my space, I can use your PromoteSpace program or platform to get in front of the right potential customers or clients or buyers or tenants, if you will. Let's talk about that, and let's unveil that a little bit more, because that's very fascinating.
Sure. So under CoeoSpace, like if you go to the upper right-hand corner of our website, you'll see Find Space, it's always free. Share Space, it's always free. And now we have Promote Space. And that is something that you pay for to really promote your properties. And it is become such a powerful way to drive traffic to your property, to increase your tours. And it's essentially lead generation that you just can't find on your own, because it's impossible to be able to track all these people in a traditional kind of way. So what we do with PromoteSpace is we enhance a leasing agent's efforts. So we are part of their team. And that's what we always want to get the message out, that we believe that if you combine your traditional methods of having broker open houses, of knowing your market, your community and tenants in the market, but now if you add this to it, you're going to see a 10x return on those efforts that you just cannot get without the technology.
That is such a great way to take your platform and take your data and turn it into an opportunity for your clients. Besides being a great revenue model for CoeoSpace, the thing that's most important is that your clients, the people that use PromoteSpace, are getting these incredible returns by using the AI-driven platform and advertising technology, which is just so interesting. Let's talk about that a little bit more. How did that come up? How did PromoteSpace come up? Did that come up on a pivot? Did it come up because you saw a need? Did your clients reach out to you and say, hey, Sheila, maybe you can help with this? How did you come up with this idea?
Essentially, yes, we did listen to our clients and the market. And so we spent the first year and a half or so simply getting up data and what I call building the community. And that was a big effort in terms of just getting out who we are and what we do. And then we said, we listened to what they needed. And as a result of COVID hitting, it was a perfect time for us to really hone this product, beta test it, look at the results, become thrilled with the results before we made them, available to our customers. And that's what we've done. And what you'll see coming from us in the future are ways for broker teams to promote themselves or otherwise to optimize your space. And so those are things we'll see in the future. But right now, PromoteSpace is hitting really hard at a time where people need it and want to find different ways to get their product out there. No CEO wants to go tour the way we did in the old days, where you start at like 40 buildings and you narrow it down to 20, and then you go to 7, and you're going on all these tours, even if it's one of the people on your team doing it or a committee, and then they only show it to the CEO at the end. No one's interested in that kind of inefficiency anymore. And I think that's here to stay. I think that is one of the takeaways from the pandemic that's going to really help commercial real estate and people who need to use it.
That's a great way to look at it, a great positivity bias, Sheila. I look at Coeo as a commercial real estate technology platform, revolutionary really, that's matching users to their perfect spaces in just seconds. And when I think about a technology platform, oftentimes when we speak to younger entrepreneurs, at least, they get so embroiled and so in love with their platform, they forget about their customers. But in the case of Coeo, it's so apparent to me that you really care about your customers. You care about the people that are leasing the properties, and you care about the people that they're being matched with. So from your perspective in your entrepreneurial career, where does that come from, that passion to make sure that it's not just a great technology platform, but you're listening to your customers as well?
Well, it's interesting that you asked that. I think it does come from a long career of client service. So being in the brokerage industry, you have to be a hunter and an executor. And I did that for a very, very long time. And I was head of real estate for a tech company for a period of time. So I got to work with different brokers and see their style. And I didn't like it when they weren't customer centric. And I loved it when they were. So I've been on a lot of different sides of, I call it the same coin, like developer, broker, head of real estate, so user. And I think that time I took in my career made me incredibly customer focused. And I know it's a small world out there, and I've spent, 25 years building my career on the service platform. So I think it's just an inherent part of who I am now. So I don't want to charge anybody for something they're not going to be happy with. So if anybody used it and wasn't happy with it, we would immediately return their money. But I don't think they will be.
I like it. And it's just so interesting. And for the entrepreneurs watching the show, the younger entrepreneurs, this is a great story because Sheila has so much experience in the real estate field. And as she was working through being in the field for so many years, there was something that was very apparent to her. It was a glaring problem that she kept on seeing throughout the industry. And she finally said to herself, this glaring problem, there's got to be a great solution that maybe we can drive through technology. And she built this with an amazing team. And this is a great entrepreneurial story to see something that's a glaring problem in a certain industry, and then setting out to fix it, not only using the human-to-human approach that Sheila has become known for, but the technological approach of building a great platform. Now, Sheila, I want to turn our conversation a little bit to entrepreneurialism, because we have younger entrepreneurs that watch the show. They're listening to you talk about Coeo and the CoeoSpace, and now the Promote Space, the AI-driven promotion technology platform that you've built as well. And they might be saying to themselves, wow, she's got it all figured out. I wonder if she ever had a challenge. I wonder if she ever had a problem. I wonder if she ever had a roadblock like I'm facing right now in my business. And as you and I both know, entrepreneurs do have obstacles and potholes in the road and barriers that they have to push through to get beyond the present challenge. So maybe you could give some insight or some wisdom or some motivation to some of the younger entrepreneurs watching the show who are maybe facing an obstacle in their business right now.
Absolutely. I think it's easy to come on and be, a 25-year veteran and make it sound like it's so easy. It's definitely not easy, whether you decide to be an entrepreneur early in your career or later in your career. To me, at the end of the day, if you have clarity and motivation and grit, you can get to the other side wherever that leads you. And it might require a pivot if you start younger. I will say, being a woman in business and just sort of my own background, my own DNA and biases, I think I spent a lot of time thinking I needed to work for other people and learn. I don't know enough. And it took me a while to really trust my gut and to know, hey, you know what, I actually have the answers and I'm going to go try this thing. And again, I still don't know if I do. We run into obstacles, we pivot sometimes, we evolve, but that is how you grow. And I found myself telling my 13-year-old when she called me from 4 weeks into camp, then she was saying it was hard. And I said, we can do hard things. And that is what I think you have to remember. When you hit a roadblock, you can do hard things. So if you have that mentality and you could find it, even if you don't have it for a day and you need to take a day and be in your pajamas, find that motivation and that internal drive that tells you, okay, I can do hard things and I'm doing this because I want it, and you'll be successful.
That's great advice, Sheila. And for the younger entrepreneurs watching the show, rewind what Sheila just said. And, you brought up, you got a call from a camp from, I believe it was your daughter, and she was finding things to be difficult. I'm going to ask you a tough question now, but as a parent, do you find some of the lessons that you've learned as being an entrepreneur also allow you to maybe think about how to talk to your children as well? And what's that connection between being a great entrepreneur and a great parent?
Yeah, I think exactly like, even that kind of advice comes from my life experiences. So whether you're a working parent or you're a stay-at-home parent, I think your life experiences help you teach and talk to your kids. I've always been a working mom, and my kids have always seen that about me. And, I had periods of guilt, right? Oh my gosh, shouldn't I be at every single thing? But I know now, because I have 2 older children as well, that they don't see it that way. And they get the value of seeing that you can do a lot of things and you can juggle a lot of balls in the air. And sometimes things aren't going to be perfect, but it does help me. And with my third, I feel like, I've got like a lot of experience, not only from working I can give her, but from raising the other 2. She's a little younger than them. And so you just learn and you try to share your life lessons, and you hope with your kids, some of it sticks. But I do think it does stick with like interns and young employees. And I have a number of mentors out in the world that have either, helped me. And then I have a ton of mentees that I help, that I see a lot of promise in, and they ask me if I can help them. And I love doing it. So young men, young women, all sorts of different points in their life. And it's fun.
That's really remarkable, Sheila. I want to talk to you about mentorship. And I know you've only sliced out a certain amount of time for me today. So thank you so much while you're leading CoeoSpace, which really showcases, for lease and sale, industrial, retail, co-working, and flex spaces, and really takes so much of the headache out of the commercial real estate sort of system that has traditionally been part of the system. I wanted to talk to you about mentorship because I know that you're mentoring others and you have mentors yourself. So as an entrepreneur, how important do you feel as a CEO of this company and any company that you work with, how important is it to have a great or a number of great mentors that you can bounce things off of?
It's invaluable. I mean, even at my company, my advisors, my board are incredibly smart and strategic, and they're willing to spend time listening to what the challenges are and offering help and solutions. We recently had someone who's a board observer essentially source a VP of technology for our company. And he's a rock star. We were just on a call where somebody said, I don't know if I'm allowed to use this, but that is a badass tech guy. And I was like, yay, we have a badass tech guy. So it was sourced by a board observer. And I can't tell you the advisors that I've had and whether they're invested in the company or they've just been successful in their own right. And somehow we clicked and they became a mentor to me in some way. It's been phenomenal. And I just really want to give that back to the other young people that think I can help them. So I make myself available for it. And I think it's all part of the ecosystem and sort of making it all sort of come together between your kids, your family, your mentees, your mentors, your company. It all comes together in a fabulous way when you give back.
Sheila, it's such a great way to live. You give so much to other people. You really are passionate about doing it and compassionate with your time and your knowledge and your background and experience, trying to pay it forward to so many other people. It's really a beautiful way to live. And for the entrepreneurs, again, watching the show, think about paying it forward. You have some great knowledge. You have some great experience. No matter where you are in your journey, there's always somebody else that you can help. Now, Sheila, before I let you go today, I need to find out if there's anything new on the horizon. Is there some things that Coeo are going to be bringing out in the near future? And if there's anything that we need to know about so we can bring you back on the show and talk about it.
Well, we're always going to be evolving and listening to our customers on what the next revenue product is. I do believe it's going to be, the same sort of idea of driving a community and traffic to our website, but then ultimately to convert for the customers. So I'm super excited about that. I know September and October is filled with tons of in-person conferences and speaking events and that sort of thing. And I'm thrilled to get back out there with the company and to be meeting with customers again. And I'm in Chicago, not just in Chicago, but we're heading to Dallas. And then we're going to a number of them in New York and on the West Coast in Las Vegas. So excited to spread the word and continue to listen to the market and come up with new revenue products that will help the industry overall.
We're very excited about that. And finally, Sheila, let's talk about your team, because I know you have a great team at Coeo. I know that you're so proud of them. Maybe you could just give the team a shout out and let them know, how exciting it is to have a world-class team surrounding you and people that really put their mind and their heart and their soul into what they're doing.
100%. I mean, I am just so grateful for my team. My chief operating officer is a woman named Audra Saradsky. And she and I worked together when she started at a company I was at. So she was considered a junior at the time. And now she's just a powerhouse. And she's my chief operating officer. And she's just amazing. I'm thrilled to be working with her. I've got this new, head of technology, Justin Donnell, who's phenomenal. And then we have a number of people on the marketing side and on the real estate acquisition side that are just working day in and day out to make Coeo successful. And I'm just thrilled to have them.
Well, it's great, Sheila, and we're going to continue to watch Coeo and all the success that you have. And for the people that really want to get involved in this new way, this new easier, better, faster, more efficient and seamless way to work within the commercial real estate field, this is the way to go. Reach out to Sheila, go on Coeo, check it out. I did this morning and I was just so excited with how fast it all was. It was really super cool. So Sheila, thank you so much for coming on the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. I loved having you on the show. I'm going to bring you back and I think we're going to explore your entrepreneurial journey a little bit more, but thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you, Andy. It was so much fun.